Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
How is everybody tonight? There is so much going on. I have so much to talk about tonight. So we need to get through it. But before we do that, I think it's important that we get all our hellos in, right? That's good stuff. So here, real quick, TJ in Georgia was first one in. Welcome. Good evening. Nostradamus, hello, hello. Jules, how are you? Helen, good evening to you. Skanes girl, what's going on? Everyone's saying that they like the thumbnail. Did you like the thumbnail?
The thumbnail?
Yeah. Yeah, that thumbnail. She don't know. So let's just be oblivious to the whole thing. All right, where am I at here? Hacks for the Homestead is in the house, by the way. Today is Senior Hack's birthday. So if you guys would all join me. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Hacks. Happy birthday to you. Many more. All right, what else we got here? Well, let me see here. Oh, Jean Menke is in the house. Good evening to you on this hot Friday evening. It's actually super nice here. Rickster's in the house. How are you, bud? Banquet of Consequences made it in, as did my friend Nitos. Nitos, how are you? Where else we got? Eagle Lover, Texas. Good to see you. Jen Botho, hello, hello. And look. There's two.
The Rickster.
Yep. Carrie Davis, how are you? Welcome in. Says she just got a massage and the world is all right.
Huh.
Yeah, B would like that. Grateful Hearts Ranch, good evening to you. Beth Emily, hello, hello. Good evening, right back at you. Where are we at here? MJ from Wisconsin, how are you? Florida Mama Bear, hello. And Jane, good evening. One step closer, I'll see you soon. Tambra Smith, hello. Mossy Oak Parrot, good evening. City Greens, hello. Gregory Kissel, welcome in. Midwest Ribeye, good evening to you as well. Indiana Mike, what's up, my friend? Spags Unfiltered's in the house. Hey, Spags, I did get your message yesterday. It was just late, so we just got to schedule a time, but we'll get that wrapped up. Vicky Poland, good evening to you. Redneck, hello. Dana Randall, hello. Good buddy Mo's in the house. Let me get down here. I think I said Dana already, but if not, Dana Randall, hello, welcome in.
Yes, you did.
I think I did. Okay. Matt Hames, good evening to you. Where are we at? Will be cool. Welcome in. He says, greetings from hot and humid South. Stan Guthrie's in the house. Hello from Oklahoma. We're going to talk about some things that'll piss you off tonight. Stan Guthrie in Oklahoma. Life with Mike and Jen. How are you? We have royalty. That is really cool. JB, good evening to you. Kelly May, good to see you. I think I'm caught up. I think. Pretty cool. All right. What's first? As you see, B and I was making this point to her a little bit earlier, saying that we look awful pink. It's like a pink party. We've been in the sun apparently a bunch.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're both wearing green.
And we're both wearing green. We're like twins.
I got the American Roots shirt on.
Yep. So the question is with twins, is she Danny DeVito and I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, or is it the other way around? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, she don't think I'm very funny, apparently.
I am the shorter of us.
That would be true. All right, so what you got? What's first thing on your list? Why don't you tell, before we get going too far, why don't you tell them your dirtle story? Because that's hilarious.
Well, you got the long version or the short version?
Whatever makes you happy, Pumpkin.
Okay, so I was out, and the only reason I was out there was because Louise was out we were taking the girl cows over to be bred. And so we got the two girls loaded up almost like no problem. And then the baby, the almost 4-month-old, was a little reluctant to get into the wagon. So we trapped him inside the turkey coop, inside the barn, the corral that we have. And he proceeded to lift up the gate and jump over the trough. And so I got the gate back in place. We finally got him all the way around, got him back into the pen. And I was standing guard at the pen at the gate, just kind of standing there. And I heard something over in the pond, and Louise was up opening, she was setting up corral, like a walkway to get the calf loaded. And so I said, what is that noise? And she said, it's a bird in the water. And I said, is it a turkey in the water? Because you could just see it like flapping. The bird was just flapping and going in circles, just going crazy. And then there was a goose at the shoreline walking around, just making all kinds of noise. And I said, was it a turkey? And she says, well, I don't know, maybe. And Jeff says, no, it's a goose. And I was like, well, what's the problem? And he goes, I don't know. Is it not supposed to do that? And I'm like, no, it's not supposed to do that. And so he came and he stood guard at the pen, and I ran over, and there was a snapping turtle attached to the goose's foot in the water. And the goose was doing laps trying to get this turtle off, and he was getting tired. He was flapping, trying to get away, going all around the pond. And so I was running around the pond trying to like coax the goose to me so I could help it. Made several laps around, and finally I got close enough to where I could grab the turtle by the tail, and I had my knife in my hand, and I was going to grab the turtle and yank it in, and then get it to let go. And I was gonna fight. And so I grabbed the turtle by the tail, and it let go of the goose, which the goose was allowed to then take off. But then the turtle flipped over and like yanked its tail, and it got away from me. So I had to fight a turtle off of the goose to get it to. I've never seen that before.
So just out of curiosity, just for these fine folks, what kind of knife were you going to kill it with?
I had a box cutter in my pocket.
so
I was doing drywall, so I had a box cutter.
My wife was going to kill a snapping turtle. How big was a snapping turtle?
It was as big as a dinner plate. I mean, It was the bell. I could see the belly. The crazy thing, the turtle wasn't fighting the goose. It was just like just going with the flow, just like relaxed and like just going with the goose was just going crazy, just trying to get this thing off of its leg. It stayed on the shore for 2 days, walking, limping up and down the path.
What I think so amazing is not that part of the story. That's interesting by itself, but that you thought you were going to kill a snapping turtle with a box blade.
I wasn't necessarily. I didn't know. First of all, when I didn't know what the problem was, so I didn't know I was going to kill a snapping turtle. But
at some point you got a plan. Okay, I'm going to get the goose. I'm going to get the snapping turtle. I'm going to snapping turtle.
I'm going to just try to get. Well, I was going to just try to like get it free. So like pry its mouth. I mean, I did not expect it to let go. So I thought once it snapped, it would just stay snapped. And so if I grabbed both of them and brought them onto the earth, then I could like, I don't know. I was gonna try to get it free.
This is my life. Real quick, Bonnie, good evening. Welcome to you. Life with Mike and Jen. Jen says, I was channeling my inner bee today, got up in a scaffolding to prime the high ceilings, vacay all day. Yeah, congratulations on being on vacation.
I love primer.
Yeah, Dorothy Holloway, good evening to you. Hey, Rainey, welcome in. Good to see you. Make sure I didn't get anybody. Yeah, Beagle Lover says, poor goose. Hey, Silver Linings in the house. Says, hi all, I'm saddled up and ready to be here all night for a change. Good for you. Hey, Christine's in the house. She's a friend of mine. Good evening. Welcome in. I think I already said hello to Indiana Mike, didn't I?
Ahoy, yes.
I did, okay. Let me see, make sure I got all of them in here. Yeah, Jen says, did she not learn from Callie about knifing?
It was, I didn't have a lot of options.
Yep. Unique Prepping. Zach, how are you, bud? Welcome in. So your pack rack. Turtle soup. Yeah, except she'd have to kill it.
I was well on my way.
Yeah, Vicky Pullen says it's already started. Got a Tim Waltz commercial. We're going to talk about him a little bit. Hey, Dave and Sonia in Michigan. There's a cool channel. Go check it out.
She's 9 minutes in. She's already got commercials.
Yep. Kip Russell, how are you? Welcome in. Let's see here. I think I got to the bottom. Hey, Juno, you made it back. I'm super happy about that. Okay. So B was unsuccessful in her hunting of the snapping turtle with a box blade.
Yes.
But was successful to free the goose.
Yes, which was my goal. That was my goal, was
Yes.
to, stop the goose from freaking out.
Yeah.
I just never thought that this would be my life, though. Like,
What do you mean?
just fighting snapping turtles,
Mhm.
fighting all kinds of animals this week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little,
All
little
kinds
bit
of
too.
animals that I did not bring here.
Yeah, B's a savage.
I just
Skane's girl says B0 turtle 1.
Yeah, it got away.
Yep.
Which means it's still in the pond, right? I mean, they don't really probably venture too far from.
Yeah, we got a bunch of ponds, so who knows? Who knows where they go, right?
That's all totally fenced in.
Yeah.
That pond.
Yes. Well,
got in there. Snapping turtle get over the fence.
Got in there, right? Poor goose. I don't care for the geese, but B likes them.
Yeah. I don't mind them.
Hey, ACM Homestead's in by the house. He's in the house. How you doing, buddy? Yep.
In the house. I just heard the engine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've got a car being picked up outside. So if you guys hear it, that's what's going on. Rickster said he got a Jace Medical commercial. I wish I could fix it, but there's just nothing I can do. I have no say in what commercials play. I don't have any say in any of those things. I've already got it set to the lowest setting. So if I can turn it off, I can turn all the commercials off. But if I do that, then they won't recommend my videos. They won't do any of those things. So it's kind of in a little bit of a catch-22. Hey, Harry Kent Hepworth, my buddy from Kentucky. What's up, bud? Says, understand Elon Musk is taking over YouTube. That may get rid of the liberal attitude. I think I would love that. I'm still half in the middle of whether or not Elon is Bruce Wayne or Lex Luthor. But
you say Elon. You don't really say Elon. Ellen.
Yeah, definitely not Ellen.
Ellen.
Yeah. But
Elon Musk.
Yeah. Super excited about that either way. All right, what's next on your list?
So when we got the girls off to be bred, we ended up girls left, which meant then we only had one Angus here. So Lou brought Freeman here. He was the cow that was born on our Zoom meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a year old. So we have a new cow here hanging out with Cowboy. He's got long forehead hair.
He's a hippie.
He does have long. He's littler than.
He is so nice though, guys. You scratch his chin and he just loves it. You scratch his butt and he just loves it. He's the nicest cow I think I've ever been around.
That's how all of her cows are.
I know, it's because she takes time and spends time with them.
Yeah.
And scratches them and and all of that kind of stuff.
They're loved.
They are definitely
loved. Which means that they're docile when we get them, or when whoever buys them from her. Yeah. You're getting a good thing.
Well, we're really excited, and I've told you guys this many times about how I think the natural evolution of prepping is homesteading, and then from homesteading to freesteading. But in reference to the cows, what it's really cool. So Cowboy, we're going to butcher in October, and that's a year's worth of food for us. And then the following fall, we'll butcher Freeman, right? And there's another year. And now we've got the two girls bred, which will be the year after and the year after. So that's 4 years of protein, potentially, stored on the hoof. So really, really cool. Let's see here. Juno, what's Juno got to say? She says, dinner chat with my friends was regarding the discreet use of chemical warfare to wipe out half the human race. Very scary. Very scary. And very true. My commercial was the swamp talking about her running mate. Oh. Leela, welcome in. Make sure I got everybody here. Crunchy Mama Farms. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. I'm going to see you here before long, right? Crunchy Mama Farms are one of the speakers at the Midwest Furnace Project coming up here.
Oh.
In a few weeks. So
I didn't know that.
There's no hope so.
That means that they're going to be here.
That's right. Dana Green, hello. How are you? Welcome in.
At least part of them will be here.
So what else you got?
Okay, so
I'm just super excited that B has a whole list of things to talk about today.
Not really.
Hey, there's
Not
my
really.
beautiful aunt, Julie Jackson. How are you, Julie?
I ended up borrowing Gypsy's mower again, so I was able to mow again.
Yeah.
So I'm up to like 33 hours on my mower now. And then I took, or on my tractor, and then I took my mower over and mowed around the trees over there and weed-eated the cedar trees. They all look to be pretty good. So did you look at the trees over there? They look pretty good.
So what she's talking about, how many trees you supposed to be planting this year? 1,000? That's a lot. Whatever.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know what the total number is, but we planted a ton of cedar trees. And what we did is we worked on, I'm a big believer in tall trees and big fences. And so the perimeter of our property, we've been working on closing in with an evergreen wall. And here in where we live, a cedar is your best choice because they just grow everywhere. And we harvested most of those right directly off our land.
Yeah.
So we've planted a few other things, but most of it was
cedar trees.
Cedar trees, yeah.
When I was over there mowing, there was a couple of locust trees that I weeded around because they look to be in pretty good shape too. So,
yeah, Harry says we're located in East Tennessee. Yes, but did I not? Unless I got the conferences, Harry, mixed up. I think I met you in Kentucky, right in the audience. In fact, I'm sure I did. So Unique Prepping says, hey, fam, if you want to see Tag interview me, email him some questions to ask me. I'd do that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, never mind.
What?
Jewel said there's a Scamazon package out at the front. Yes, Scanes Girl. Scanes Girl, you rock. You know what? You know it better than I do, and I lived it too, which is pretty cool. All right, go ahead. What else you got?
I got at least three new chicks in the turkey coop.
Yep.
The mom that had chicks, was it last week? The week before? Has a new size of chicks in there now.
How many are there? I only seen one.
There were six. There were six of like the last go round, but there were three in there just now that were much, much smaller than those other six. So I was, and those were green eggs. So I don't know, but they were white birds. I don't know, because all the green eggs that I've ever hatched had colored birds in them, usually black, but.
Yeah, we didn't incubate any chickens this year. We focused on turkeys this year. She's got a lot of turkeys out there, but what's pretty cool about that is they decided since we were going to incubate them, they were going to hatch them themselves. Yeah. Hey, Todd, not Todd, welcome in. Amy B, how are you, my friend? One Step Closer says, Tag, you should look at some red buds near the fence line as well. They'll fix nitrogen to feed your cedar trees. They're pretty, and you can eat the flowers. Yeah, and we have them that grow here naturally too. That's
we could transplant them all day.
Yeah.
But that's a good idea. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, that's a very good. That was One Step Closer.
Oh, was
Jeremy.
it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amy said she made red bud jelly last year. Used Pectin. Yeah, Nito says new strategy is to put an electric line close to the ground along the fence where they are digging in. Yeah, pretty cool.
Put for what's digging in? The turtles? The turtles dig in?
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Oh.
I'll be interested to watch you do that project. What else you got?
No, we're not. Okay, so one more thing about birds while we're talking about birds.
Vicky's got a cool comment too. She says, and the red buds are an early nectar source for your bees.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to write the red buds down.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, you got to help me. The greatest name on the internet.
Half Bubble Off Club.
Is in the house. How are you, my friend?
Okay, so something else about birds. I was out doing chores one day, and the turkey hen that I thought was eaten by the owl because there was a giant leg over on the community building wall came home. So she was not the bird that was eating over there. She has a nest over here by the siding. I watched her eat and then run back over to it. So she's been gone for quite some time, at least 2.5 weeks.
Mhm.
So she's going to have a clutch.
He was talking about the skunks and the feral cats digging underneath. I actually had to go back and find the comment. Hey, Mrs. Terry's in the house. Hello, Miss Terry. Mrs. Terry, how are you? Yeah. Jen says she's gone broody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's been broody. I just usually take her eggs from her when I find her.
The problem is them turkeys, man, they escape and they go hide somewhere and you don't see them. We thought we lost the one
for a while
to the predators, but she made it back. So
she came home for food and then she went right back to where she was.
Yeah, that's one of the problems when you grow like the heritage type breeds, the Narragansett turkeys that we grow and the speckled Sussex chickens we grow are all, what's the word you would use?
Feral.
A little bit feral, yeah. That they like to forage and they like to be out in the woods and they like to roam around and they don't really want to be dependent on you. And I love that. I absolutely love that. But you have to deal with that just a little bit. Coraline Stevenson is in the house. It has been a while, but welcome. Good to see you.
So that was a pleasant surprise when she came. I at first didn't recognize that it was her because the two girls look so much alike. But then the whiter one they actually kind of got into a fight. And then I was kind of separated them. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, you're supposed to be gone. And then she made her noises, her chirping noises. And then she went right back over to where she was, her nest was, and I was able to follow her all the way over there to see where she was. I didn't go all the way over to her because I don't want her to know that I know she's there, because usually when that happens, she abandons her nest. So I saw her go over there and I could see the grass moving because it's pretty tall. And then I just left her alone.
Amy B says, I had a hen hatch one chick only. Should I add some Rural King chicks for more company? I'll let B answer that too, but in my experience, they will just kill them. They won't take them.
With one. It just depends, because if I had a broody hen that I threw babies under, remember? And she accepted them just fine.
Yeah, I think that's
rare. It depends. So she already had one that hatched. So if you could do it right away, maybe. Especially if she has eggs under there, you could take the eggs and then take the kind of switch them out.
Yeah, Terminator's in the house. How are you, Terminator?
But she's going to peck you.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt, though.
Yeah. Amy B says, pack rat, plan your fruit trees carefully. They're cedar rust resistant varieties. Yeah, specifically in apples. And there definitely are. Yeah. All right. What else you got?
Also had another guest in the turkey coop this week. This was
I've got a picture of that. Don't talk about that.
The turkey coop has been a happening place. Well, that was it. And then I was able to go and help a community member set up her classroom this week. So
yep, we have good friends who have moved to the area, and she's a teacher. Got a really cool job as a teacher here locally, and so we went and helped her set her classroom up.
Yeah, that was nice. It was fun getting to.
Hakestraw 54, good evening to you. Farm Ranch Homestead, good evening to you.
That's it then, since you don't want me to.
I don't want you to talk about that one because because I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. All right, so let's get you guys updated on the community building and everything that's going on. Right, so these are two pictures side by side. I've started cutting in windows into the community building, which is pretty cool. A lot of people don't do it like this. A lot of them frame it ahead of time. But for me, because I just work on it a little time here and there, the 3 windows you see on the right took me 2 separate days, but they were just an hour here and an hour there as I work my way, kind of through it. As you guys can see, look really, really close. You can see my cut lines on the plywood. That tells me where the windows are going. So I'll just kind of cut a little box around where it won't fall out. And then I'll go in there and frame the window and do all of that stuff, run your king stud and your trimmer studs and your headers and, all the stuff that goes in there. So
there's 3 here to row.
There's 3 to cut out right there. Yeah.
So 6, there's 6 along the front.
On the front. Yeah.
Front side.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. But we've made a lot of ground. If you look, I put the roof is on the community building, both front and back. The rake flashing is on both sides already. I haven't put the ridge cap on yet. I'm hoping to do that tomorrow. And the building's been, house wrapped.
Somebody asked me, why don't you talk about how come your roof line looks like that? Somebody asked me, how come your roof line looks like that? Why is it so big on one side and so small on the other side?
Yeah, so this building is, so it faces, the long side of the roof faces south. And because I want I want to be able to use as many types of off matrix systems as I can use, I wanted a big roof. Because I'm not just going to put solar up there. I'm going to put solar water heaters up there.
You're going to put the solar panels up there.
The panels up there and put solar water heaters up there. Plus, here's the other thing. The primary source of water for this building is rainwater. And so I want a big roof to collect big rainwater. So I did it that way purely so that I could maximize rainwater collection, but then also solar hot water heaters and,
Can you not collect water on the other side?
You can,
on
but
the north side?
You can. You just won't get as much, right? Because of the way the storms come here. Yeah, Mrs. Hacks wants to know, I don't really understand, but says, how are the guineas eggs doing? She's talking to you? I don't know.
Yeah, so she said she was on vacation when I found the guinea eggs and I put them in my incubator. She was supposed to come and get them.
Oh, okay.
1 week left to
hatching.
You better come and get them.
Yeah.
They want their mommy.
Yeah. One of the cool things, guys, about building it yourself is you can build it any way you want. And, for me, I'm trying to maximize everything that I can maximize so that the systems become self-regulating and self-managing, right? We'll be able to collect a ton of water off this roof, and it gives me tons of space to play with all kinds of things. Mrs. Hack says, all the turkeys we got from you the last time are hens.
Good.
Isn't that funny how you always want hens and then you get hens, but I know in your guys' case you really like a couple of toms. But yeah, Amy B says, well thought out design tag. I knew it would be. Yeah, I just knew that I wanted a big roof on that side. And so we just pushed it that way. So I'm pretty excited about it. What else? I got some more pictures in here for you. So there's the front of it. I've still got some work to do on my poles. A couple of them, I got to move the bottoms just a little bit, but you can see 4 windows now cut in on the front side of that. There will be 6 in between those 2 doors. So we're obviously plugging away. I don't want to put the house wrap on until I get those windows cut out. So that's what we're working on getting done there. And I got, obviously lots of, stairs to build and all kinds of stuff. Hey, Jack, how are you? I think, is there one more? Yep. One more picture there. Yep, I just took that picture so I could show you the front of the roof's on as well. So we are weather tight for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of little things going on, but we're making ground and we're about to have a clubhouse, which I am very, very, very. Oh, one more. Sorry, guys. So that's looking at it from across the pond. I love this view.
Yeah.
Right.
It's tall grass.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that is like there's mounds of dirt in there that are going to be moved here.
Yeah, that will all be open when it's done. But I've got bunches of dirt piled there, and I'm going to I need every bit of it.
And poles, there's all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah. So are you excited about the, community building and progress?
Yeah. I'm excited about being able to use it. I'm excited about it going up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good opportunity for us to be able to have lots of people. There's only so many people who can fit in our living room.
Yeah.
So be nice to be able to have a get together and not be limited on how many people we can invite.
Yeah. Hakes Ross says, what kind of siding are you going to use? So I'm going to use the roofing metal halfway up like a wainscoting on the outside. And then I'm going to use hardy board siding on the top. And the reason I'm going to use hardy board siding is because me and a buddy of mine, you guys know him as King Jeff Juicy Hefty Lefty Amazon. Him and I went in and bought a semi-load of hardy board siding that we found at $5 a stick for a 12-foot stick. And Home Depot's got them for $15 right now. And so it's 30 cents on the dollar, but I have so many, I don't even know what I'm going to do with all of it. So I'll use it in every place that I can use it. Well, because I got it and I got it. it's here, right? So that's what I'll use Across hardy board siding with tin as a wainscoting halfway up. Rick's wanting to know what amenities will it have. Well, it's got a kitchen and 2 bathrooms. Inside of it, obviously it'll be full solar. It'll be full, off grid. The water system comes in through a rainwater system, and so we'll have to run through a whole filtering system and all of that. But it will be really cool. It should meet all of our needs. I bought a 1,500 gallon cistern for it, and I just got to get the fittings on it, and then I'll get it under the ground. But yeah, not today.
To figure out a water purification system.
Yeah. Hey, Big B's in the house. How are you, my friend? This is great progress. You see, Amy B says, I remember when you got the hardy board. Drive that deal like you stole it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But guys, that's the thing. I always tell you, every opportunity we get to make $1 too makes us more successful. That hardy board siding is going to affect 5 homesteads eventually. Yeah. And it's
now
great.
We actually get to use it.
Yeah, it's great. By the time we got it here, I ended up about $6 in it because we had to get it shipped here from Tulsa, Oklahoma. We actually hired a truck from here in my hometown to go down to Tulsa, pick it up, and drive back. And by the time it was done, we had about $6 a stick in it. But that is still far better than the $15 it would cost me to go buy it today.
Right, retail.
Yeah. So I'm super, super excited about that. And, we're trucking away at it. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to get the rest of the windows cut in. At least try to. Where I'm already started on some of the electrical stuff. I've got a buddy of mine. We call him Hancock, and he's a really, really smart guy. He's been coming down and helping with the electrical part. He's a master electrician by trade, so it's really nice to have good friends that'll do those kinds of things. So we'll continue to work on that too, and hopefully it won't be long, and we'll get the solar system put in because I already have it. It's sitting here. I just got to get it put in.
Putting it in?
Yeah. And what's so nice about that? Are you
going to record that?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Once we get the solar system put in, now you've got lights.
Because that's a grid down system.
It's a grid down
you'll
system.
You'll be able to walk people through that whole thing.
Yeah.
From dark to light.
Yeah. Yeah. Which will be super, super cool. What else? Well, here's an interesting picture that hey, Conserve Friends, how are you? Says we went from a 1/2 inch of rain in 2.5 months to 7 inches in 3 days. Ouch.
Ooh.
Well, it's still good. You got rain, but 7 inches in 3 days is a lot.
That's a lot.
Hey, speaking of King, wrong one. Speaking of King, Juicy, Gypsy, Hefty, Lefty, Amazon says, hey, everyone made it in from the new property. Happy Friday. Yeah. And Hack says they'll get the eggs on Sunday. All right, B, why don't you tell us what we're looking at? I took a picture of your other turkey that made it home.
Yeah, that's
what's
my
the other
turkey
picture?
That made it home.
What's the other picture?
Yeah, that was a visitor in the turkey coop. The possum looked like it had been in a fight with something, and it was taking refuge in the
turkey coop.
Turkey coop.
Yeah, and you killed it.
I did.
So she attempted to kill a turtle with a box blade, and now it looks like she's killing a possum with a hoe or something.
Or something. So that scraper was there. That's not. He's just got his head back behind it. It's just sitting there. I'm holding it with the white stick.
Yeah, my wife's a savage, which is pretty neat.
No, well, I didn't want it in there. So, okay. So right there in that spot, 3 days ago, I brought out a dead chicken. There was a chicken there. And at first I saw something there and I went, oh, that's kind of weird. It's like dark. And I got my claw on a stick and I dug at that because that's behind the feed cans. And so I stuck my stick down there and tonged it out, and it was a dead chicken. It was flat and mainly dismembered. And I'm like, well, that's weird because I'm pretty sure I would have seen that or smelled that here in the last couple of days. And then 2 days later or 3 days later, there's this thing in the exact same spot, curled up. It was just sleeping nice and cozy in a nice warm spot. And as soon as I lifted the trash can lid, it stirred and it moved, and it caught my eye, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? And it was a possum.
Pack Rat was nice enough to put a recipe up there.
Would you have eaten that? If I didn't tell you.
If I was hungry, I would eat it. Right. Hey, David wants to know why you didn't just take him over to the pond.
Throw him in.
To let him go.
No, they don't. You can't just release those because they don't just come with you when you ask, and you can't just like.
Yeah, and it might have lived, right?
Well,
because you hacked it, threw it over the fence. Rosie picked it up and hauled it off. We don't know what happened to it after that.
Yes,
right?
I forked it out of there with the fork and then put it over the fence. It hissed at me. It might have been playing possum, but
Jen says you're going granny clamp it.
Rosie picked it up and did carry it off. And I had just turned around to shut the gate so that the cows didn't go into the barn, and saw her. She was beyond the woods. And she had something in her mouth, so I assumed it was that, and it was gone. So that I assume was dog food.
What you got here?
Tomatoes. It was tomatoes. Those are the Amish paste, I bet.
Yeah, bees tried this year for the first time to grow them up over an arch.
Did you take that picture today? Because I thought that they were taller.
Well, it's a little bit misleading. I got another picture in here.
Okay, so I thought that they were going to grow. Yeah.
That's on the side of the arch right there.
Okay, so I thought that they were going to grow up and over the arch, and instead they went so wherever I stopped clamping them, they started from there just growing up. So
they're not laying over.
They're not laying over, which when they were growing on the fence, they would just lay on the ground, and I would just toss them over the fence, and then they would go to the other side and lay on the fence, and then I would toss them back over. So there was this big mound on the fence. So I thought that the trellis, I could get them to go all the way over, but you have to train them to do that apparently. Each runner, that's a lot of training. But I do see a red tomato there. That's nice.
Yeah, it's about time, right?
That means it's coming.
It is very close to being
the
there.
Wave of tomatoes is coming.
Yep. Well, guys, before I get into, hey, RN, how are you, by the way? Welcome in. Before we get into, all the topics going on in the world today, I thought I would share something with you guys and actually ask you guys a personal favor, if you would not mind. So there has been a lot going on politically around me, and we had, community members who ran for office this year. We've had the county commissioners attempt to change a lot of the zoning regulations and some of that stuff that we've had to, kind of get involved in. And so I asked the county commissioners here if they would be willing to live stream all of their meetings in an effort to be transparent, to which they declined to do so. And so me and the community decided that we would do it for them. And so we've been videotaping their meetings and streaming them or putting them out on YouTube for our local community to see, so that, again, in an effort to be transparent and have open government, we want people to be able to watch these meetings, because it seems to me like what happens is we just get bulldozed. They have meetings in weird times. They decide what you can talk about in the meeting, what you can't, how long you can talk. And so we're really trying hard to put a spotlight on our local politics. And so we created a YouTube page called Northeast Kansas Open Government. And if you look, there's a link right there. Guys, if I can show the commissioners that people watch these videos, if I can show that there's a subscriber base, if I can show those kinds of things, it will give me leverage in these meetings, right? They'll know they have to answer to people. So the favor that I will ask of all of you, please go over and subscribe to this channel. If you see a video, make a comment, because at the end of the day, again, I'm trying to push local stuff. So let's talk a little bit about what they wanted to do. We were talking about, hi, G Homestead, how are you? Hi, G, probably, Homestead. So one of the stuff they were talking about in the meeting is we have a rule out here for the agricultural land that you got to have 20 acres to build a farm, to build a house. And one of the things they're trying to do is move it from 20 to 3 acres. Now, they could always do it through making an exception, to tell somebody that they can do it. But the difference is that if they just make it 3, you'll have no chance to speak. So if my neighbor wanted to divide his land up and make a housing development, as it sits today, they would have to go in, then there'd be a public notice. We would have an opportunity to come and talk about it. But if they move it to 3, it'll just happen. And there's just not anything that I'm going to be able to do about it. And so we're really trying hard to put local pressure on. And so, again, if you guys don't mind, I would really, really, really appreciate, there's a link right there right there. I got it up on the screen and also in the chat. It would really help me push the narrative of freedom in my local area. I don't really care if you watch the videos or you don't. It doesn't matter to me. Again, what I'm trying to do is actually change the way things work where we live. Potpourri for Life, welcome in, by the way. But I would really, really appreciate it. I've only done 2 videos so far. As you can see, I filmed the August 5th Jackson County Commissioners meeting, which if you go in there, you'll see how they try to kind of bully you around. The Jackson County zoning meeting, which is the first one up there, they didn't even want to let the people speak, even though they advertised that they would allow people to speak. They tried to shut it down without allowing us to speak. But luckily we have, savages like Indiana Mike in the house who wouldn't allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Right. But again, at the end of the day, we're going to keep pushing this. Sunday, we have another meeting coming up here, which is, you hide this here. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the NIETC, but basically they're one of the largest land grabs in the history of the United States of America is going on right now. The government is proposing through eminent domain to grab 100 million acres of land across the country.
100 million
100 million acres. Now, all I'm showing you is the Midwest one. This one right here goes 780 miles long and is 5 miles wide. So you're not talking about just an easement to run power poles. You're talking about a 5-mile wide stretch that runs through Kansas, through Missouri, and through Illinois in this particular case. I'm going to show you guys here real quick. Let me get out of this real quick. I'm going to show you guys.
Share screen.
Yeah. Oh, window. Here is the complete proposal that they're talking about. So it's going to affect a lot of New Mexico.
Can you make that bigger?
I don't know if I can
on their side.
Yeah, I don't know if I can or not. I don't know. I don't think I can.
What about the plus? No.
No, it's fine. So New Mexico, Colorado, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois. Look at what they're doing to poor Nebraska and South Dakota. Right. I mean, this is a huge land grab. Absolutely huge. Let me stop sharing here. There's some videos out there like largest land grab in history. There's a bunch of videos that are going out today. You see, there's some people commenting about it here. Skeins Girl says, right after we talked about that last week, UNESA TV came out with the video on it. Yeah. Yeah, Gregory says it's a huge amount of land in Nebraska also. Yes. Actually, Nebraska gets it worse than Kansas does. South Dakota and Nebraska are about the same. But, I mean, big chunks of, look at New Mexico, right? It's just absolutely sad. But we're going to go make a run at it. Sunday, we're going to the meeting, and I'm going to film the entire thing. And I'm going to post it. I'm going to post the conversation of the government officials. I'm going to post the angry people who are, being threatened with losing their land. That's, in many cases have been in their, family for many years. I'm super upset about it, and we're absolutely going to go. Let me see here. Anti-Jack says that life done free plus and page should increase every time you hit the plus. Oops. What did I do?
Hit cancel.
Cancel? Yeah.
Don't do that.
Sorry, guys. Rickster says Utah is safe for now. Yeah, it's safe for now, but I'm going to tell you something, bud. What affects all of Americans affects all of us at some point. We've been talking about all this political stuff that's been going on, and the fact of the matter is none of us should be surprised we're in these fights because they're coming for us. They're coming for all of us. They say you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Guys, they mean it. They absolutely mean it. The World Economic Forum talked many, many times about how everybody should be a leaser. You should lease your car, lease your house, lease your clothes, right? You shouldn't own. Yes.
How weird would that be?
You shouldn't.
Can I have my pants back, please?
Yeah, you shouldn't own it. It's time to get in the fight. And this is a great opportunity to get in the fight. But anyway, so we're going to go up there, you guys, on Sunday. We're going to film the whole thing and try to do our best to discourage them from doing it. But again, at the end of the day, they're going to probably do it anyway. And there probably isn't a lot we can do, which, by the way, is the absolute most important reason why you build community, you yoke up. Because I'm going to tell you something. When we go into these county commissioners meetings, if I was standing there by myself, I'd have no impact. Yep. When you go in there with a group of your buddies, you do get impact, and we had some impact, right? That first commissioners meeting that we went into, and the land planning meeting, they did change some of the rules because we were there. They didn't change them all, right? And they still haven't voted on it, but they will. We were supposed to vote on it last night. We went there, and not enough board members showed up. Imagine that, right? So they didn't have quorum, and they couldn't have the meeting last night. So they'll have to put it off.
Did they say why the board member didn't show up?
Yeah, they just didn't show up. SL says, what is the reason they're giving? To improve the national power grid. That's the reason they're giving. But this isn't power lines. It's a 5-mile wide strip. This is wind farms, solar farms. This is It's all of that stuff that will go in along those corridors. And it's not a coincidence that these corridors they want are where there's a lot of wind in the case of, or a lot of wind in the case of wind power, or solar in the case of solar power. But it's absolutely ridiculous. Hey, the instigator of Hippocrates Gardens in the house, by the way. I just want to say hello. Amy B says, my favorite quote from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Great movie, by the way. Man ain't no kind of man if he doesn't have land. Yeah. Yeah, this is why community matters, guys, and this is why we got to keep doing it and keep pushing it. Like I said, I will be there, even though this proposal doesn't affect me in any way. It doesn't really affect most of the community, but we have brothers and sisters in the north of us who's going to get impacted, and we need to make sure we're there, to stand up and to do something about it. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Sorry, guys. There's they've been kind of blowing by here. Gregory says, are they having meetings across the U.S.? Yes, they are. Every area that's going to get affected, they're going to come into the area and they're going to try to negotiate with landowners, and they're going to try to do what they can do. But at the end of the day, they're going to take it. If we can't get enough people to stand up, and I don't even know if that's possible.
Yeah.
But this is the largest grab. Again, 100 million acres. By the time you get it all clued in. RN's right. Follow the money. Where does it go? Yep. And they'll use private corporations as to be able to break the law, and they'll do all kinds of stupid stuff. But it's very discouraging to me. And but we're going to keep swinging at it anyway. G. John says maybe they should put power generations in the blue areas of the country who want it and need the power. Yeah, no doubt, huh? It's not a coincidence that what they're attacking is right down the center of the United States, right? Yeah, absolutely insane to me. But one more time, I just want to go back and show you guys again. It would be a great help to my community here in Kansas if you guys subscribe to the Northeast Kansas Open Government, because when I get into meetings again, what it does is it gives me leverage. Yeah. And this is really, really important. Every video that goes out in this channel, I am tagging the commissioners. I'm making sure they're seeing it. I'm making sure they watch it. We have several Facebook pages that are sharing them, and we're going to absolutely keep doing it. Jen, you rock. There we go.
Yep. We had 54 subscribers when we started this. 54.
Yeah, what's cool though, the first video's got 772 views from a channel that, didn't even have anything before we started it.
And now you got 71.
Yeah, just got mad and said, take it. So I would really appreciate if you guys would do that. Jules says, how the heck can we stop it? Community. We get together. That's how. Guys, I'm telling you,
Voices.
I've been at this a long, long time. And me by myself in any one of those meetings has no impact. But you get a whole bunch of people. You should have seen some of the faces of some of these, land planning people in the commission when we all walk into a room.
Yeah.
And we pack the place.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If they know that you're posting their videos on this YouTube channel, they don't want it to get out there. So the more people that it reaches, the more they see that it's going, the more they have to be held accountable, because they know what they've said. We all know what you said.
Yep.
It's out there.
Yep.
So it kind of keeps them in check.
Yep. Gregory says, how about a few nuclear plants in the blue areas? Yeah, well, I would imagine that a lot of these big open areas like this, Because in Kansas, it's a 5-mile stretch, but there's some places it's a 20-mile stretch.
Yeah, which
that
is
they will be
incredible.
They will be building nuclear power plants. They'll be building things, like that. You do want people watching it. The bride and I are now subscribed. Thank you very, very much. I would appreciate anybody who would get involved in it. Because again, what it does for me is it gives me leverage in a meeting. If those commissioners know that there's 1,000 people watching, I'm going to hold them accountable. I'm going to go film it. And I'm going to hold them. And I'm going to be fair the whole way. Right. I'm not
right. You're not editing them.
I'm not editing the video. I'm not trying to create a spin. But when they don't want to let the people talk, when you sign up for a 15-minute spot and they decide to only give you 3, I'm going to put it on record. And at some point, they're going to have to answer to that.
Or when they say, just sit down, like how they were snippy and.
Yeah, there we go. Jules says we need community members on these boards. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. And Mike says the light tends to keep normal people honest. CJ Hawkeye, how are you? Says the Grain Belt Express runs through the entire northern part of our county. This is a private foreign-owned company doing the land grab. Yeah, but the only way they could do it is with support of the government.
Right.
Yeah, Instigator says I had to subscribe because I live in Northeast Kansas.
They said it was a private foreign.
Yeah, I think you'll move it before you'll stop it. Probably not in their target area now. That will come after they see public reaction. Guys, here's the thing, though. This is if we just don't pay attention, what happens is this is how you end up not being able to collect your rainwater.
Right.
It's just one other thing and one other thing and one other thing and one other thing and one other thing.
And that's the thing. They were like, "Oh, your taxes just went up just $78."
Yeah,
just $78.
And last year was $100, and the year before that was $100, and the year before that was $100.
And then everything is going up $78.
Right. Thank you, guys. Juno says, I subscribe. It doesn't matter. I'm in Ohio. It does not matter that you're in Ohio. In fact, it's helpful to me and it's helpful to the community to show these politicians and these bureaucrats that there are people watching.
All over, everywhere.
Right? Yeah. And it absolutely matters.
Right. And so when you had said, like, I don't care if you watch the videos, that's what he had said. You do need to watch the video, that put it on there and push play and go about what you're doing so that it shows them that it is being watched.
Yeah.
And make comments and thumbs up. That way they know that there's interaction there.
I guess what I was saying is that if you don't want to watch it, I get it. I just appreciate the sub because it'll help me push.
Right.
I find it interesting, for sure. But
it pushes it by them watching is what I'm saying.
What's this says? Life done free. Chat check, please. Some info I just dropped you was blocked or deleted twice. Okay. So YouTube, I know a whole bunch about this. YouTube, excuse me, has a new AI chat bot. And they're looking for particular words and stuff, and they will just automatically delete them.
The comments.
Yep. It's absolutely going on. Yeah. So I really appreciate you guys subscribing. Like I said, it'll help me, move the ball forward just a little bit. And, that's just an absolute wonderful thing. But I wanted to share with you guys a comment that I thought was just absolutely so right on. This was the last page that I was on. There was a young man named Evan Richiter here in where I live. And this was a conversation that went on Facebook, and he was bitching about why do the state employees get a big raise when I didn't get a raise? Mm. And so Evan goes on to say, those employees do not deserve my money. Find a different way to pay for them. To this lady, Sarah gets on and says, the county employees file your deeds, register your cars, take care of your roads, count your votes. They are humans deserving an income that they can live on, income which comes from taxes they themselves also pay. Sarah went on and said, the nurses take care of your family. The cops ensure your safety. The EMTs that respond to your accidents. The road crews that manage the roads you drive on. The CNAs that take care of your elderly. And also humans that deserve an income that they survive on. The difference between them and us is they're living while we're surviving. And I think what Evan's response was just so beautifully written. And I know Evan, and I hope he gets to see this, because I think this was just really well said. He responds to Sarah and he says, hey, sorry, but their jobs are inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. I do not need to register my cars to live. I don't need to file my deeds to live. and they ultimately don't take care of the roads. They hire private sector companies to take care of the roads, and they haven't been doing that very well in this county. They don't serve us. They serve the government. They serve to collect taxes. And I'm sorry, the government just doesn't have a whole lot to do with my day-to-day life. I think this is a really important thing, because what he points out is if you didn't need to go file a building permit, you wouldn't need that office.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And your taxes and your driver's license and your concealed carry permit and your.
Right. So if we eliminated if we made freedom the standard, you wouldn't need any of those things. What they do is they open a new office. Now they've got to staff the office. Now they got to pay benefits to the office. Anyway, I thought this was just perfectly said. And, I just can't thank Evan enough. I think he really hits the nail on the head. And it's something I think that all of us need to remember. Hey, last thing before I get on to the stuff going on in the world, and I'll quit ranting about what's going on here in our world a little bit. By the way, thank you guys very much for your subscribing and for being involved. It's going to help us out a lot.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you guys the results of our election. As you guys know from our lives, we had 2 community members running for county commissioner. And I'm here, unfortunately, but I'm here to tell you that both of them lost. So if you look up in the first one, Linda Gerhardt was running against Matt DeVader. Matt DeVader lost 289 to 373. But here's the thing, guys. The community here where we live got 40% of the vote.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing.
Yeah. We need to keep bringing them in.
Right. I mean, that is really cool. 40% of the vote. We're making ground. In the other commissioner runoff, Keith Kelly won. Thomas Hoffman, which, again, super like-minded, got 255 of 424. But I think at the end of the day, to say we managed to get 40% of the vote, I think we're headed down the right direction. And I'm actually very pleased and proud that we did this. I'm proud of those 2 who gave of themselves to run and to try to make a dent for us. And we're only beginning. But I don't take any sadness out of all of it. Again, I think it's something we learn a lot from. And I think we're going to be a lot better, through it. Yeah. Jen says all those agencies that issues regulations that are not law, but you will be fined for not following.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, we just need to get rid of the laws,
That's
right?
What
we
said.
need to. Well,
they're
the
not
other thing,
laws.
I was going to say, are they laws or are they regulations? Because those are obviously 2 different things.
They're regulation. They're requirements.
Right. Which I asked them about at the last meeting, by the way. It would be more plausible argument to pay for the roads if our roads were actually maintained.
Right.
Let's see here. NASA TV YouTube page has a 25-minute video on the land story. Yeah, I seen it. Yeah, I absolutely seen it. Farm Bureau is holding a public info meeting on the land grab. They said all other states fought against the electric line land grab, but Kansas politicians gave them no opposition. Really? That is super interesting to know. Well, they're going to get opposition on Sunday because we're going. That pisses me off.
I wonder what.
Pack Rat says a 40% poll will be noticed. Yes, it will. And they've had the highest turnout in the primaries they've had in many years. I think it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, kind of like mandates, right? Yeah, they're not laws. When the government workers claim that they pay taxes, it's like taking a cup of water out of a bucket and then pouring a few drops back in it. Yeah, it's so dumb. Why do we even tax government employees? Then you got to pay them more to get the taxes. So it's like they're already taxpayer money. It's the dumbest thing ever. But I am just super excited about the things that are going on. I'll tell you guys one other thing that I'm just so incredibly proud about. And I was telling B this the other night, that our community is full of leaders, and I love it. And, the first meeting that went on with the zoning, I wasn't even there. I had other obligations that I had to be at. And the community just picked up and took off. And I know some of them are listening tonight. I'm going to tell you something. It is super cool and super proud that you guys, lead. And I promise you, when you lead, I will absolutely follow, because this stuff's worth it. And it's just super, super exciting. It's sad that we lost the election on both fronts, but 40% of the vote, and we're engaged and we're in the fight. And I can't tell you how amazing that is. I'm super excited about that. Maybe someone can tape some of the Farm Bureau meetings on the subject and pass the video to you for that YouTube, becoming a clearinghouse for that info. Well, Well, Pat Grad, if you look at the description of the second YouTube channel that the Northeast Kansas Open Government channel that we built, it says right there, if you've got a video, send it to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what open government.
Yeah. Sometimes I really wonder about Farm Bureau's stance on quite a few issues. Yeah, let me tell you something. Farm Bureau is in it for lobbying, no different than Tractor Supply, which is how companies get there. It used to maybe be a great thing. Maybe isn't such a great thing anymore. I don't know. But get out there and get involved, you guys. So, get out there and get involved. And, you will be able to make a difference, and they will start listening. I think as Pack Rat said, 40% will be noticed. Yeah, and I think in Matt's case, it was like 43%, right? So it was pretty cool, and I'm pretty excited about it. Let me see here. Our local ad just paved a few months ago. Our local road, I'm sorry, was just paved a few months ago and was done by the Cherokee Nation in cooperation. Yeah, so our local government, we have a reservation close to us, the Potawatomi Indian Reservation, and our local government has not been kind to them. They're always blaming them they have to raise taxes on me because the reservation don't pay enough and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Even though that the reservation is the largest employer in the county and they donate, millions of dollars to the local schools and they do all kinds of stuff here. I don't know whether it works out or how it works out, but it's just absolutely crazy. But the good news is, like I said, we're in the fight. Taxes just infuriate me, says Silver Lining. We were paying for freeloaders, not the infrastructure for the people. Well, people, as we talked about in the last live, people have figured out they can ride in the cart.
Right.
Why do people send hundreds of thousands of dollars to run for an office that only pays a few thousand? That's a great question. It's because they get paid in many other ways. Mm-hmm. Right? There's lots of backdoor deals. Yep, like the USDA and the FDA being funded by industries they were supposed to watchdog. Yep, 100%. Yep, remember, Tag, it's just 40% so far. We'll do better next time. Yes, we will. And, we've got the communities getting more organized this way, and there'll be other candidates, and we're going to get super involved. And we watch some leaders just blossom in all of this, which is actually awesome, right?
Yeah.
So, it's not a sad day by any stretch, but we'll absolutely get there, right?
Yeah.
Well, you'll get on to some politicking. Not really politics, just what's going on in the world.
I was going to say, I hope not.
Well,
politicking.
Yeah, we got a new vice president candidate, right? Which he's a mess. Let's see what we got. What I got on my sheet here. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but it was reported just today that Nancy Pelosi gives cryptic answer after being asked about her role in the coup against Biden. She says she didn't call one person, unquote.
One person.
Yeah, Pelosi is believed to be one of the main conspirators in the coup against the Democratic nominated candidate. Multiple reports claim Pelosi was scheming behind the scenes to get Biden off the ballot. Award-winning journalist Seymour Hersh suggested Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jefferson, Obama were directly involved in the coup. Obama called Biden after breakfast on July the 20th and said, and they called it calling Biden, and he says, here's the deal. We have Kamala approved to invoke the 25th Amendment, a senior Washington official told Hersh. Pelosi, Schumer, Jeffries, and Obama are the biggest threats to American democracy. Right? I don't understand. Hey, Toby Baldwin, how are you? Future Kansan? Just because your candidates didn't win the primaries? Win the primaries? Yeah, they didn't win. We still have the general election, but again, because they didn't win the primaries, the Republican nominee for those positions will get the vast majority of the votes here where we live. She says, stay on top of the candidates that win the office and keep them online. We're giving it hell, right? We're giving it hell. What else? Shocking report. Secret Service whistleblower reveals that the lead agent in Butler Trump alley was not checking IDs from people who entered the rally. One of the cops that was there was quoted, and I watched the video, and he said, and I quote, I effing told them that they needed to post guys effing over there. I told them that effing Tuesday. I talked to the Secret Service guys, and they're like, yeah, no problem. We're going to post guys over there. They're talking about the roof, right? In which the shooter was sitting on. Waltz is a stolen valor piece of. I deployed to Bosnia twice when mobilized and was a private contractor in Iraq. I didn't know that about you. That's awesome. Let's see here. Biden says, this was super interesting. I hope you guys heard this. But Biden was quoted, and I watched the interview, and he said it. Biden says that there will not be a peaceful transfer of power if Trump wins. Quote, this come days after Rep. Jamie Raskin said the Dems will create a civil war conditions on January 6, 2025, when they try to block him from taking power via the 14th Amendment. The Democrats are openly announcing their plans. That's rough, guys. That's absolutely rough. Man, if it is known that those candidates, that moment, will be back election cycle after election cycle, concessions, red herrings will be offered, and the usual suspects will be increasingly discomforted. Yeah, that's the goal, right? Any commissioners seem possibly favored to you, you could offer support in exchange. Yeah, except here's the thing. I'm unwilling to bend on some of these issues. And I get in, I don't want to say heated conversations, but in conversations, disagreeable conversations inside the community. Because I think there's some things like property rights you just don't give on. I'm not going to go in there and say, okay, I'm not. Now, some other people in the community might, but I'm not going to go in there and say, okay, you can infringe on this part of my property if you give up on this part of my property.
But not that.
I'm not doing that. Now, maybe there's some other things we can meet, somewhere in the middle on.
Right. And you've talked to the commissioners.
I know them all well.
There and
I know them all well.
had conversations with them. It's just
I have their cell phone numbers. I can call them right now.
Their reach is getting greater.
Mm-hmm.
And so
is ours.
We are hoping that, just like some of those situations like where Indiana brought up in this beginning and the guy said, that's already done with. Next conversation.
Yeah.
Like, we already did that.
It's over.
Quit bringing it up.
Yeah.
We're going for more.
Yeah.
We're going for seconds.
Yeah. We are absolutely going to keep the heat on, Pack Rat. 2024 election update. According to the CEO watch list, Kamala Harris now leads Trump across all national polls, according to Newsweek. Did you guys see this AI picture of Kamala Harris landing and all the people? That's this picture right here, babe. So this is her plane. Okay. And she landed and they used AI to put a crowd in. And I know it's AI because if you look at the pictures, the hands are weird. It was totally staged. She's staging the numbers of people who are there. Conservative friend says knee pad Harris and tampon Timmy. What a pair. Yeah. Yeah. It's just an absolute mess. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but Kamala Harris has a new campaign slogan, and she's chosen to go with one word. I don't know if that's because she don't want to have to remember more than one word, but her new word is freedom. Can you guys believe that Kamala Harris is using the campaign slogan, freedom? Freedom. Kamala Harris's first 2024 campaign ad reclaims freedom with the help of Beyonce. You say it long enough, loud enough, it becomes the truth. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It absolutely does. Hey, Barb, how are you? Says, let your community befriend each other one guy at a time. That's what we're doing. We actually met a nice young couple out on the porch of that meeting that we didn't even know. Yep. So let's talk about Waltz. Here's the new vice president candidate. I put a fair amount in the live tonight so that we could just kind of talk about it a little bit. But in 2020, as the reaction to COVID pandemic tightened its global grip, the administration of the Minnesota Democratic Governor Tim Waltz controversially initiated a hotline encouraging citizens to open Pandora's box of surveillance, remnants of the dystopian literature. This move was once again sparked discussion about Waltz following his newly minted status as the running mate for Vice President Kamala Harris in the imminent 2024 presidential election. So basically, he set up a hotline where if you wanted to rat out your neighbors for not being vaccinated, you could do it. Kamala Harris's pick for vice president is bought and paid for by Big Pharma, and he supports child genocide for a payoff. Starting this month, and this is a tweet from Governor Tim Waltz's Twitter page. Said, starting this month, families who get their 5 to 11-year-olds vaccinated will get $200. That's cash in your pocket for starting the year off right by protecting your child from COVID. Isn't that exciting? Where are we at here? I'll start right there. Wow, the person who jailed all those innocent black men in California. Freedom!
Freedom.
And AI may be responsible for the majority of the votes recorded this election cycle. If you guys asked me to bet right now, I would tell you Kamala Harris will be our next president. Yeah, G. John says, I thought her motto was not going back to a greater America. Yeah. Watched Vance go over in front of the vice president's aircraft to give a press conference. Yeah, that was awesome. Yep, they first came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out either because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Yeah, if we don't make a stand, there will be nobody left. Perfectly said. I found there's a guy online, iMeme, who says, I'll post a video daily until the election to remind people how Minnesota looked after the BLM riots that Walt supported during the mostly peaceful riots. And he's been posting lots of pictures burning. And again, this was all on Tim Walz's watch. Tim Walz exposed as a double agent working on behalf of the Chinese government. Flight logs show him now traveling back and forth regularly through his time as governor of Minnesota. They have allegedly been funding his luxurious lifestyle to include his private jet, while cities burned and businesses were forced to shut down. No way to know for sure what their long-term plan is, but we should all be very concerned about how the Kamala Harris was forced to pick the vice president by her masters. Kamala Harris promoted a bail fund for the rioters. So when they had the BLM riots up there, Tim Walz as governor, knelt to the mob and allowed all of this to happen. And then Kamala created a bail fund for them. He didn't stop any of the Summer of Love activities in Minnesota. Exactly. I've been posting the same thing regularly. Yep. Kelly May says, with as much time as he and his wife spend in China with their CCP buddies, I'm sure he has a lot of big communist ideas. Harris will be the president for sure. She will continue to bring America down. I pray, Barb, you're wrong, but you're not. Die for freedom or live for slavery. The mayor begged for the National Guards and Waltz didn't send them. Oren says, bedtime, y'all have a good week. Hey, good night. Yep, it's all a show. Yep, it's acting. He's been taking groups of high school kids to China. Yeah. Hey, and then Carrie Davis says, quote from a friend, often mistaken but never in doubt. Seems appropriate. God, it's so sad. I'm flustered with it all. In the meantime, the Minnesota's first lady, so his wife, says she left the windows open during the 2020 BLM riots to smell the burning tires and soak in the moment.
Good grief.
Yep. Vice President Tim Walz abandoned his National Guard unit upon notification of an Iraq deployment, lied about his timing of his retirement before his unit deployed, was put on blast by a retired command sergeant major of the Minnesota National Guard. The Minnesota National Guard leaders exposed Tim Walz's stolen valor, lying about his rank, quitting when his unit was being deployed to Iraq. As soon as shots were fired in Iraq, he turned and ran the other way and hung his hat up and quit. That's who I weren't leading my country.
No.
Waltz begged Trump for the NG when his house was surrounded, National Guard, when his house was surrounded, but did nothing when his city was burned. Man. Kamala Harris has selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as vice president choice. So let's just take a quick look at some of the things that he's done, his amazing accomplishments, which will qualify him as a great leader for our country. He fueled the BLM riots in 2020. The rioters looted and wrecked Minneapolis, did not deploy the National Guard to avoid angering the base. While crime dropped nationally, Minnesota's went up. Changed Minnesota's state flag to resemble Somalia's state flag. Killed old people with COVID nursing home scandals. Waltz shut down schools, churches, and businesses and instituted draconian mask mandates. Waltz oversaw the largest COVID fraud scheme in the country with $250 million plus stolen. Waltz squandered $17.6 billion budget surplus and raised taxes. Sounds like our commissioners. Minnesotans have been fleeing the state. Minnesota, friendly LGBTQIA++ sanctuary state. Pushes youth trans surgery and hormone therapy. Quality of Minnesota K-12 school fell to the lowest it's been in 30 years. Soldiers accused Waltz of embezzling and selectively omitting facts about his military career. Fellow soldiers accused him of quitting on them, got a DUI in 1995 for going 96 and a 55, and has been on the record as praising socialism. Perfect running mate. Where are we at here? I heard taking T-Man out will start a civil war in America. Well, Biden was just this week on saying that if Trump wins, there will not be a peaceful handoff of power, right? So either whether he wins or he doesn't, it looks like we're in for trouble. Banquet says, tag you or Army. We would call Waltz a Blue Falcon. Yeah. I don't know what we would have called him. A traitor, probably. Yep. Chris White, how are you, by the way? I hope you're driving safe. He was arrested for a DUI doing 90 and a 55. Packrat says, the rules are simple. They lie to us. We know they're lying. We know they're lying, but they keep lying anyway, and we keep pretending to believe them. Yep, in Minnesota, lots of foreigners. Yeah, and you guys, and we'll talk about this tonight, the stuff going over in England, that's what's coming to Minnesota and many places like it. Oh, I did see that. Conserve Friend says, meanwhile, he pushed tampons for the boys' bathrooms in schools.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why they call him Tampon Man.
Right. That's exactly why. Hey, Mary Michelle, how are you? Harrison Waltz, the Kamala Harris and Waltz just got caught offering to pay influencers to post pro-Harris Waltz content. An Instagram follower with nearly 150,000 followers contacted Rep. Jake Hoffman with screenshots exposing a sophisticated astroturfing effort underway by the Harris Waltz campaign. Social media users were being paid to post pro-Harris Waltz content on Instagram. This is actually the fourth time that they have been exposed doing this. They exposed Kamala Harris for paying influence up to $20,000 for it.
Jeez.
Yeah, Kamala Harris and Waltz again got caught for influencers. Democrats turned to influence to help them, and Kamala Harris campaign is a windfall for influencers. Hey, Cheryl Seller, how are you? That's funny. Hey, Gross says, I support the new LGBTQ group. Let's get Biden to quit. I don't know which is worse. Kamala doubled down on her far left choice. Will get more Palestinian votes than Shapiro, while the squad folks are losing in the primaries. Wonder if it matters. I don't know if you guys seen this or not, but there was a 7.1 quake in Japan. But what I found so fascinating about it is they issued a mega quake warning, the first in history. I did not know this, but a mega quake is any quake that's considered a magnitude 8 or bigger. And they're saying that a mega quake is imminent to Japan, which would be horrible.
Didn't California just have a 5.2 today?
Yeah. Yeah, but an 8, like the 9 point, what was the one in Chile? 9.8? Biggest earthquake ever in history.
When was this?
Oh, 10 years ago? Something like that. Let me see here. Life Micah Jen says, sign policies for illegals to get driver's license. In Minnesota, you can register to vote when you get your license, according to the Minnesota Secretary of State. I'll keep trying to find solutions, but it seems we are being hit on every turn. Keep fighting, my friends. Oh, we will. We're on it. And Banquet says, good night, all I need to feed. Bless it. Yep. Good night to you as well.
Yep.
Biden announces new plan. You guys should be super exciting to ban plastic utensils. So you can't have plastic forks and spoons anymore.
Well, they've already gotten rid of the plastic straws, right?
Except then they put the paper straw in a plastic package.
Was it in plastic? I thought it was in paper.
No, they're individually wrapped in plastic. It makes no sense. How bad would a tsunami that would hit the West Coast? Well, if you had a 9 earthquake off Japan, a tsunami might hit the East Coast. I'm not a specialty in that. But, right. I read that Harris is getting local celebs to do a concert that she speaks beforehand in order to get people to rally. Yeah, so that she can show big numbers. But guys, here's the thing. They've got the power of the purse. They can spend your taxpayer dollars paying Beyonce $1 million to get on stage and sing a song. And they'll get Beyonce followed by Taylor Swift, followed by, so that they can show there are big audiences. This way, when they cheat and say she won, they have plausible deniability. Right.
Make sure you're paying your taxes so they can get these people to come in.
Yep. So you guys know there was a bill that passed the House called the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. And what this said was that biologically born males can't participate in female sports. The Republicans voted 219 yay with no nays, and the Democrats voted no yays with 203 yays. Crazy.
So what's the outcome?
No. Well, now it goes to the Senate, but so it passed the House.
Okay.
But no Democrats voted for it to protect that. How crazy is that?
Crazy.
They tried cardboard straws in restaurants, but it didn't last. It went back to plastic. Hey, Tim Riley, how are you?
Those cardboard straws suck.
Yeah, January 1700, Japan had an orphan tsunami, and in 1996, they discovered that the Juan de Fuca plate let loose. Pretty interesting. Yeah, well, they're saying it's imminent now, which is pretty interesting. I know you guys know they play fair, so this is just a coincidence, but the FBI recently raided Andy Ogle's house last week. He's a mega conservative congressman from the state of Tennessee. So the FBI just raided a Tennessee guy's house. Just a coincidence, though, you guys. Don't read anything into it, but he just happens to also be the author of the impeachment articles to oust Kamala Harris from her position due to her derelict duty on the border. Just coincidence.
Right.
Yep. FBI whistleblower testifies under oath that the FBI won't allow 11,000 plus hours of the January 6th footage to be released because it would expose undercover agents. Yeah, you think?
Well, they don't want them exposed.
What a fucking mess. Millions of people across the country will be boycotting Dunkin' Donuts going forward. I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, but after the Rumble CEO released information showing them as a big actor in the move to boycott platforms like Rumble. Hey, Porterhouse, what's up, bud?
And X.
Yep. Business as usual, Seattle business owners warn violent crimes are happening on a nearly hourly basis, and this is madness. Seattle business owners warn violent crimes is happening. And Harley Davidson went woke. I don't know if you guys know this, but they did. And now there's these big old displays, and that bottom picture is one up in Sturgis. Sturgis is going on right now. And look how empty it is. The Harley Davidson booth. A lot of the bikers are now going to an Indian motorcycle because Harley Davidson pulled a Bud Light. So stupid.
What happened? I didn't hear about it.
Harley Davidson is facing biker backlash. Fears that the American motorcycle manufacturer born the Renegade. I can't read that behind the thing, but anyway, they're identifying as woke. Harley Davidson has been one of the most beloved brands in America, but recently the CEO, they've gone totally woke. Filmmaker Robbie Starbuck shared with his more than 528,000 followers on X in July. The bike's brand apparent decision to volunteer for the culture wars in America has been a high-octane topic at the 84th annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally in South Dakota this week, according to both attendees and numerous social media postings. It's branding suicide, Vinny Terranova said, the owner of the Pappy Village Cycles in Sturgis, South Dakota, told Fox News Digital on Tuesday. A lot of bikers are switching over to Indian, he said. They killed the Harley and it breaks my heart. Apparently, Harley Davidson Pack Rat thinks they're going to sell to the LBGQ community, apparently. I don't have any idea. Yeah. Mario sold his Harley last year. I've always wanted one, but maybe that day will be an Indian. Who knows? This has been crazy. I don't know how much you guys have been following what's going on over in England. This is absolutely nuts to me. But after British police announced that they'll start arresting Brits who make hateful remarks on social media, Americans are now flooding police chat hotlines with messages in support of free speech. So there's riots going on over there. So a bunch of the immigrants are rioting and beating up English people, and then English people start rioting back, and they're at the verge of civil war. But the British government is saying if you post pictures about it, if you post, social media stuff of what's going on, that you could absolutely be arrested. The England police say that they will actually extradite and imprison Americans over the same social media posts.
From here?
From here.
Come here and get them, though.
Well, they can charge you, and then you can never go there. Right? The UK is now arresting people for retweets. I repeat, the UK is now arresting people for a retweet. They allow migrant gangs to rape and kill children, but only arrest those retweeting the truth.
Mm-hmm.
We do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media to look for this material and then follow up with arrests. You know what's so crazy about that? Hold on, let me get a couple comments here real quick. Hey, Ghetto, what's up, bud? The Harley issue is branding suicide on purpose. It immediately erased the entire group of people who didn't follow the narrative. Oh, Indiana for the win. Think the U.S. will let the English protesters seek asylum in the U.S., or will Biden find denial special for them? Yeah. I catch Funky Prepper some. It's crazy. I need to watch him more. I've watched him a few times. I don't do it regularly, but makes me love my little vintage Indian more and more. What's so crazy about this is, we in the West, and this is comes from the Vigilant Fox, but I totally agree with them, call Russia a dictatorship. We hate Russia, we hate Iran, we hate China, we hate all of those things, and yet the United Kingdom arrested 3,300 people last year for what they said on social media. Meanwhile, only 400 people were arrested in Russia for thought crimes. Think about that argument. That anybody would be arrested for thought. A thought crime. I mean, we're supposed to have freedom of speech here, absolutely crazy. So what this means is that soon we're going to live in a land where no one's allowed to have an opinion. And that's it. Because now they're arresting people for having an opinion. After 3 young girls were brutally murdered, the UK police have prioritized speech as the real crime. You following the 3 young girls thing?
Mm-mm.
So an illegal immigrant attacked, stabbed them to death, and killed all 3 of them.
And they were all together?
They were all
3 separate situations?
From what I understand, they were all 3 together. And then what happened is the English people started rioting over immigrants. The immigrants are then in the street. And I've got all kinds of slides for stuff like that. But now hiring for the Ministry of Truth. Apply at the London Police Department. Remember the Ministry of Truth from Agenda 21?
No.
Notice how they branded all protesters far right. That is also interesting. Minority Report tag.
Yeah.
Yep. Unfortunately, we're headed in the same direction. Yes, we are. Freedom of speech, but only for 3 minutes. I'll give you guys some context on this. So when we went into the county commissioner's office, we signed up for 15-minute slots, and we got there and we were told we only had 3 minutes. So Indiana Mike is actually taking a swing at our stuff happening right here. It's freedom of speech, but only for 3 minutes. And they cut you off 17 times while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I wish some people would self-arrest themselves if they truly believed that crap. Winston Smith's job is available. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. Just fucking crazy what's going on. Here's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on, you guys, over there in England. While reporting, legacy media outlet Sky News accidentally caught a Muslim immigrant in Birmingham standing with swords and machetes. Right-wingers are now planting decoy protesters in the UK, and when the police arrive, the only people they find are the armed Islamic mobs who mobilize to attack the fake protesters. Police were recorded telling them to discard their weapons at the local mosque. They're telling that these Muslim immigrants, no, just take your weapons and put them back in the mosque. A group of men who looked of Middle Eastern ancestry assaulted a man who looked of Anglo-Saxon ancestry, reportedly because of his race. A man who looked of Anglo-Saxon ancestry assaulted a man who looked African descent, reportedly because of his race. Outside that same hotel, a fight broke out after both sides launched cans of drink at each other. This was followed by an attack. I can't read it exact because I need to get rid of that thing in my corner. Was carried out by a Muslim Defense League on 2 white men. Apparently, the 2 men were attacked with hammers. Again, we can't verify exactly what caused it. And dozens upon dozens of men who looked of Middle Eastern ancestry were seen patrolling the streets with weapons. Isn't that crazy?
It's like the Purge.
Hold on, Tag.
Scary.
If it wasn't an immigrant who did it, though, it was a 17-year-old kid that was born here. Right. Who had no social media presence. Was an awkward kid in school and then tried to assassinate the president, right? Absolutely crazy. 1984 is exactly right. Hey, Struggles to Triumphs Health and Witness Coaching. How are you? Good to hear from you. tyrannical rule, all tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of God conscious to remain silent. Thomas Jefferson. Yep, the Minority Report movie comes to life without the crimes. Sadly, the system could have made the social media post to create the law. Yeah. Time to ban hammers. Yep. Yes, it is. This whole thing is just so crazy to me. This is what's happening in the UK right now. The government opens the borders and lets illegal aliens in. Illegals start committing violent crimes, murders, rapes, etc. in British communities. Government does nothing to stop the criminal illegals. British citizens take matters into their own hands and attack the illegals because the government won't do anything. Government declares British citizens that attack illegals are domestic terrorists and starts raiding their homes and arresting them for protecting their communities. Sound familiar? Coming to America soon. And in case you didn't see it, Princess Kate Middleton from England was caught wearing I don't even know how to pronounce it, hijab, the head scarf thing. So the Princess of England was wearing their clothing. Imagine that, huh? There are more than 100 mosques in Toronto, but Muslims block the tram rail. So it was time for them to pray. The whole city backs off and just lets them pray and stops the trains and stops everything and just doesn't get involved. When did we become such pussies? That's what I want to know. Elon Musk says UK civil war is inevitable. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Amy B says Indiana's on fire. Indiana's always on fire. Always. And Louisville Sluggers, very popular in Britain. Hammers are legit. On average, more homicides occur with hammers each year than rifles in the U.S. Check the FBI stat. Yeah, I've seen that. They could have at least given me half the time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, that fight is not over, my friend. It is not over. Now, in case you guys want to know how good the world is everywhere else, because the only place that's bad is in England. I don't know if you guys know this, but Iraq has reduced the girls' legal marriage age to 9.
Oh, my gosh.
9. A bill that has sparked significant controversy has been put forward in Iraqi parliament, aiming to lower the legal age of marriage for girls to 9 and boys to 15. The proposed legislation has raised alarms among human rights organizations and women advocacy groups.
It's disgusting.
I don't see how anybody would find a 9-year-old girl sexy, or I just don't. Yeah. Imagine this chaos across the globe. It's happening every day already. So check that one. Trump gets elected and fixes the chaos. I don't think that'll happen. Seems to me that's what's going to happen. It's all about the big picture here, meaning their plan is working. I read a very interesting article, Ghetto, that suggested, and I'm not suggesting this is true, but it was interesting, that Trump is working behind the scenes with Russia and China right now to combat the New World Order, to combat the World Economic Forum, and it kind of makes a little bit of sense, right? Russia's been very public about their anti, New World Order stuff. China wants to be left alone. So I wonder what the chances that that's true. Their police no longer will do anything for the citizens, but police will still do things to them. What was the root cause of the illegals committing crimes? And maybe it was Great Britain taking away money. Foreshadowing of things to happen here. This is actually a really great point, G. Johns. When the immigrants that have been flooding across the border, right? Look what's happening in Europe, babe. We just went through where they were purposely letting all these immigrants in here into our country, right?
Yep. And
they've been paying them lots of money. What happens when they stop paying them? Right? If their goal is to create chaos. Tampon Tim also signed a document with a Muslim call to prayer will be sent out 5 times a day. Can you imagine hearing chimes through your city 5 times a day? Ugh. I asked my wife to buy me a left-handed hammer. She beat me with a skillet after spending 3 hours at Home Depot. Now, that shit's funny. That shit is funny. Trump concluding with others was on one of your previous slides tonight. Yeah, I just forgot to cover it, but it was on there. I just copy and pasted it to remember to talk about it, and then I didn't. The largest protest in London, protesting unchecked migration, was attended by middle-aged and elderly. Hundreds were arrested by riot police at the truly peaceful assembly. Message, back off. Oh, now that's some good hopium. Send me the article, please, if you can. Sexual attraction to young children is demonic and sick. Yeah, what's crazy is, we talk about the stuff going on in Iraq, but this isn't happening only in Iraq.
No.
This is happening here in America every single day. Sex trafficking is going on mass all across the globe, and to include the United States of America. North Korea said they would only talk terms for anything with Trump and nobody else. See, I actually, I don't know. I wouldn't testify that theory is right, but there does make some sense. How would you combat the New World Order? How would you combat the World Economic Forum, right? Because it's a cultural difference. Many countries do not have an age limit. Women seen out, unoccupied, or covered are seen as hoes. Yeah, bringing illegals over to offer money and then take the money away. Yeah. Speaking of my wife, she's cussing out the squash bugs in the garden right now. Anyone have a natural remedy for squash bugs?
Hardy plants. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, bee picks them off and throws them in a bucket of water and then feeds
Not
them.
the squash
feeds
bugs.
them.
Oh my gosh.
Feeds them to the chickens.
I tried to do that with the majority of the bugs, but
not with squash beetle.
Those things are like, when you see one, there's a problem. You lift up something else, and there's 45 others.
Yeah, P. Diddy isn't getting much press lately, huh? Yeah, neither's the Epstein list. Someday that's going to come out. Someday. I don't know when, but absolutely someday it's going to come out. You guys want to hear some good news? And this would actually be good news, even though I always say I'm going to give you good news, and
then you don't.
Here's a very interesting study that I was reading about.
I'm glad you know that.
Yeah, so this is big. I am not making it up. It says Wall Street Apes. The University of Nebraska just got done with one of their studies that the way to save the world on carbon is to raise more cows. And that's because cows are carbon negative. They produce more oxygen than they put off methane and carbon. It means to eat more cheeseburgers and steaks, beef to save the world. According to a 2023 University of Nebraska Lincoln UNL report, beef production can be climate neutral or even better if managed practices are optimized to minimize emissions and maximize abilities to store carbon. Some of the ways UNL researchers suggest that cattle carbon footprint can be reduced include diet. Cattle can eat more foliage, and added fats produce less methane and other greenhouse gases than those that eat more grains and less forage. Fat supplements can also reduce the need for grain. So what are they saying here? That the big cattle farms that just feed grain and don't have them out on pasture are the bad guys? Mm-hmm. Wow. Production efficiency. Improving production efficiency can result in more cattle being marketed and more live weight being produced while using fewer resources. This can be achieved through breeding, feeding, and health programs. The supply chain, buying feed that's grown nearby and reducing shipping emissions. Interesting. All right, where are we at here? I have no idea where I left off, guys.
None of them are highlighted.
I guess we'll start right there. Barb says in Iowa it was reported 40 missing people in 10 days. Oh, that's scary.
From what?
Yeah, I didn't even hear about it. Trump's a big piece of the puzzle here. I can't figure out what his piece represents yet, though. Yeah, best squash control, don't grow squash. Tim, you and me are tight. Tim for president.
No, Tim's wrong.
Sounds like a propaganda piece. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm willing to do my part and eat more steak. Yeah, tag. Your good news is often kind of like Lucy putting the football in front of a Charlie Brown. Yeah, quite often. Using electroculture in my garden for bug control. No, there's an answer.
Yes.
Dinosaurs must have had some gnarly farts. That's the main reason I never accepted cow farts as a problem. Feedlots are bad, says Todd. One of my clients who works for a county in North Carolina said over 100 illegal immigrants were flown here from Haiti and are being allowed to apply for county jobs. Ron White was right. How are you saving the planet? I'm eating cows. Mm-hmm. Cattle and clay in a sprayer, 2 cups per gallon is supposed to deter pests and protect from the intense sun. Hey, B, this is Lou. Sounds like that means cow shopping. Hush. Hush,
Yes.
hush, hush.
Maybe some of them white ones, them little babies that need a home.
Research a Shia for famous 9-year-olds in history. Yeah, I don't. Famous 9-year-olds.
Mm.
If I had a 9-year-old, I want them to play. Yep. Amy B says, did somebody say cow shopping?
Cow shopping.
You mean raising local beef is better for the environment? Who would have thought? I know, right? Who would have thought? Squash bug remedy, Nito says, in a gallon jug, 5 tablespoons cold pressed orange oil, 1 tablespoon of blackstrap molasses, 2 tablespoons pure Castile soap, not necessary but helpful, 1 cup organic compost tea, fill with water and shake. You want me to stop right there so you can catch up there, pumpkin bug?
No, you're just going to show me later, right? How to...
Here, take your camera and take a picture. That way you've got it, and I don't have to go back in here and...
That's a lot to do.
No, it's not a lot. It's a whole lot less than me having to come up here and find it again.
No.
Well, there were more bison, buffalo, and deer in North America than our current cattle count by an order of magnitude at least. How much methane back then? Yep, 69 likes and 101 watching. Do your part. Vote early and often. I couldn't agree more.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Pour in a sprayer, spray plants in the evening, rinse plants in the morning to avoid burning from the sun. All right, what else we got? Good news. Georgia citizens held a press conference at the State Board of Education meeting to expose evidence of fraud, including widespread voter roll manipulation happening right now, and demand action ahead of the 24 election. So citizens are standing up in Georgia big right now. The Georgia State Election Board has voted to accept a new rule requiring counties to preserve voting machine memory cards, which contains ballot images, audit logs, and etc. This came after they discovered that 1.7 million ballot images were missing from the 2020 election. Of course they did. This is why Kamala Harris will be president. There's no way she would win fair, but doesn't matter. Citizens declare a state of emergency with Georgia election officials. Georgia owes President Donald Trump an apology. Now we can prove that they had intentional human intervention, which the predicate for election fraud. Georgia citizens held a press conference at the state board election meeting to expose the evidence of fraud, including widespread voter roll manipulation, again, happening right now. Just insane. Just insane, everybody. You know, look at that. Conservative Friend says Virginia governor announced paper ballots only, which I love, by the way. This one was super interesting to me.
Still needs a computer to count it, though.
Well, but you'd have a record of it, which means it could be audited. Well, they can't destroy them; they have to hold on to them.
Papers, the pieces of paper.
You can recount it. So, breaking, Colorado election fraudsters placed an ankle monitor on Tina Peters to make sure she appeared to the jury like a criminal. Tina was the brave clerk and recorder of Mesa County who preserved all data from the Dominion voting machines before they were deleted. So this lady, which was the clerk and recorder, made a copy or preserved all of the votes, and then they destroyed them, and then she released them, and now she's being treated like a criminal.
Yeah.
A Gold Star mom whose son served in the United States getting treated this way just for preserving election records is one of the most saddening sights in American history. At a prior court hearing, they accused Tina Peters of recording on her tablet despite clear evidence that she did not, and then proceed to use it as a justification to put her on house arrest and put the ankle monitor on her. Just think about the kinds of criminals who need these monitors. This is a blatant effort to humiliate her. I don't know if you guys have been following this case, but crazy. And the ticket will win with an unprecedented voter turnout, just like last time. Yep. Their way of telling us our vote don't count without telling us, because we're all arguing about them cheating. That's exactly right. All right. You gonna get on some COVID stuff? You like all my good news?
Sure.
Okay. Leading pro-vax journalist. Australian journalist Jane Hansen has died suddenly from brain cancer after the aggressive illness developed following her first Pfizer jab in 2021. Mrs. Hansen spent her life ridiculing vaccine safety activists, actively lobbied to have unvaxxed kids banned from schools before and after the pandemic with initiatives such as the 2013 No Jab, No Play campaign. She was known for bullying parents who challenged the childhood shots, scheduled the adults who questioned the testing of the emergency mRNA shots, calling them hysterical drama queens who are threatened to kill the vulnerable in society. She also produced the 2021 documentary Big Shots, Anti-Vaxxers Exposed, which harassed RFK Jr.'s Children Defense Fund, and Del Bigtree's film Vaxxed for their unwavering commitment to reveal the dangerous side effects of vaccines. Before taking her first fiber shot, Mrs. Hansen worked to ban a group raising attention to adverse reactions and called a woman whose father-in-law had been hospitalized a fake story. Tragically, she knew the mRNA shot needed to be questioned and properly tested because it was brand new, but she labeled the real inquiry as medical misinformation. Would she be alive today if she had listened to the warnings? Rest in peace. Sad. A 36-year-old doctor, Michael Neeb, died from acute pancreatitis while in residency at Philadelphia's Temple University. They were mandated the shot. According to the study published in Helion Medical Journey, not only is acute pancreatitis a documented side effect of the COVID mRNA vaccine, another healthy 28-year-old also developed this condition 3 days after getting double jabbed. Coincidence? All right, where are we at here? Another died suddenly. Seems to be a lot of that going on. Yes, there is. Hickshaw says here in Wisconsin, a woman was sentenced to 5 years for proving election fraud. Isn't that crazy? How does that happen?
She was sentenced to 5 years?
Yeah, because she proved fraud happened. Yep, just spurious correlations. Yeah, I'm sure too. The computer just hopped to a commercial when you brought up my last comment. When it came back, it had skipped ahead beyond your words about it. Yeah. Write this down, Tag. Would love to hear your opinion and would go good for your news portion. Mpox Africa. Google that and see what the CDC and the WHO are going to do about it. You're talking about the monkeypox? I did a bunch of the stuff, I don't know, a year ago.
Yeah.
When it was, kind of prominent. Yep. Tag, what is your opinion on solar-powered security LED lights that are 5,000 lumens, but without motion sensors for exterior protection per both front yard and backyard? I think it's a wonderful thing. The only thing that I would tell you, Starla, is that I would really prefer lights that I can control when they come on and off. Like I don't really like motion lights unless I want them to have motion lights. So I would wire them. I would put a switch on them anyway, so I could turn it on and then the motion lights work, or turn it off and they wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Kelly May says the Weston A. Price Foundation has a lot of info on this, plus a lot of other things. What I got from the articles that the CDC and the WHO are trying to do a county-wide quarantine. Country-wide quarantine. My apologies. Mpox has been on my bingo card for months. We need to create a prepper bingo card. I think that would be fun. I never got any jabs, but got the coof and ended up in the hospital for a week with pancreatitis. Never had any issues even before the coof. Chat is working, but video is buffering after the Cam and Tim ad. Yeah. Yeah, it's a new strain of monkeypox going on right now. I'll look it up. They are remote control, Tag. They are 2 for $25 where I found them. Yeah, cool. All right, moving along. So Wide Awake Media says what we've ended up with was a pandemic of testing with the misapplication of the PCR tests that were never designed, according to their designer, to be used as a diagnostic tool. They simply took the opportunity to do something. This is from Tucker Carlson. This also was reported, and I did not verify any of this because I didn't have time, but they're claiming that there's a 279% spike in miscarriage. This is all since 2020. 487% in breast cancer, 1,000% in nervous system issues, 155% spike in birth defects, 350% spike in male infertility, 369% in testicular cancer, 2,000% in hypertension, 364% in malignant neoplasms, 880% in multiple sclerosis, 551 in Guillain-Barré syndrome. I don't even know what that is. 468% in pulmonary embolism, 302% in tachycardia, 452% in migraines, 471% in female infertility, 437 in ovarian dysfunction, and 269 in myocarditis. Crazy, right? Not myocarditis. What did I say? Myocardial infraction. Sorry, my apology. Myocarditis is up to 28%. Cancers up 300 to 900%. Infertility up 500%. Miscarriages 300. Neurological disorders 1,000. Oh my goodness, what is that? Demyelinating disorders. Did I say that right? We'll just call it right. Multiple sclerosis 600. We already did that one. HIV is up 500%. That's crazy.
Oh.
Pulmonary embolisms up 400%. Absolutely crazy. Bubba and I were out on the road the whole time everyone was locked down. We got sick once while we were on the road, and that was it. I'm starting to take notes during these lives. Yeah, crazy. The world's a mess. Okay, one more question tag. I am 131 feet long tip of trailer to back of attached house. How many do you recommend for each side? Well, if it's 5,000 lumens, probably one. That's a significant amount of lumens. If it's truly that. But, there's a lot of stuff that gets advertised 5,000 and you get 2,000. I just put one on each side and see how it goes. Silver Lining says, in my humble opinion, C-test was to obtain your DNA for the future. There's a lot out there about that, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot. Squatchy is in the house. How you doing, my friend? I'm glad you made it. COVID-19, a nickname for it that came about 2020 when they say it on YouTube. Coof. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, 2020. We got you. Disturbing from the Village of Fox says the most vaxxed country on earth is now facing a population crisis. Singapore officials have tried to gaslight the public, but the numbers don't lie. Not only are excess deaths skyrocketing, but birth rates are also plummeting. The cause of this appears to be the infamous COVID-19 vaccines. In 2021, Singapore's natural population increase, births minus deaths, fell by 13%. By 2022, it had plunged even further to 39.4%. This decline is unprecedented, especially when you consider that the total COVID-19 deaths during this time were relatively low. But here's where it even gets even more disturbing. Singapore ranked number one globally for excess deaths in mid-2022, yet the numbers begin to raise eyebrows. Singapore was suddenly removed from the global mortality database. Of course it was. To make matters worse, a law requiring investigations into deaths linked to medical treatment was quietly removed in 2023, right when people started asking if the vaccines were to blame. The Ministry of Health claims Singapore has one of the lowest excess death rates globally, but the data shows the exact opposite. Singapore is in trouble, and the government narrative doesn't match reality. With births in free fall and deaths surging, how much longer can the truth be hidden? Mm-hmm. See, go up, read new virus. Go up, read new virus. Starla says, I think the COVID test from China actually spread COVID. African CDC will call emergency monkeypox virus outbreak. I'm going to research that. Nito says, never forget Gates and the World Economic Forum claims the world is overpopulated, needs to be cold. Yet Klaus Schwab said that we're worthless eaters. Right? There are scientists and doctors saying C was not a virus. It was given to us in the water and other things. They also said the so-called V's are biological weapons. Who knows?
Vaccines?
Yep.
The vaccines for biological weapons.
Work with someone who got COVID for the 6th time, which equals how many times she was jabbed, wondering if there's a correlation between the extremes. No jab, no COVID, 5+ jabs, 5+ COVID. Yeah. And remember, the new bird flu vac is mRNA based. Yeah, I'm out. Guys, I think this is, again, another great example of why you got to take care of your own systems. Have your own water supply. Have your own power supply. Have your own sewer supply. Like, be able to do as much of that for yourself as you can, because who knows? I mean, we know that they've proven they can put vaccines in lettuce, right? We've read a lot of those articles, and amongst other things. I took the vaccine, had no choice. It was either take it or not have a cancer doctor. Now I have the type of leukemia that involves RNA. But by the grace of God, I'm near remission after a med change. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. We are blessed, everybody. We have the flute man himself in the house tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm here. Now, what did I miss? When are you ready for me to come and put the plumbing in tag? Yeah, I am.
Well, we're ready for you to come anytime.
Well, yeah, come anytime. But right before you come, I need a materials list. So I have everything sitting here. Right. Vito says no jab, no COVID for hubby or I. Even Harris's population needs to be reduced. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, I cannot believe the stuff we're living through today. And it's crazy all the way even down to a local level, right? It's crazy everywhere. I mean, we're having to get out there and fight for the smallest, littlest things.
That's because they want to take.
Yeah,
they want you just.
No, they want control, babe. It's a money thing. They don't have any problem here where I live with you living in a camper as long as you ask permission.
And you pay.
And you pay a little fee, but it's really, I think, more about permission and control and having a say, because they've got to justify all those offices. That's why I really liked Evan's comments about how if I didn't have to pay a permit, there wouldn't need to be an office.
Right.
Right. You're saying
they do your government chores.
Right.
I don't want government chores.
Yeah. Most of them you don't need. Right. But it's crazy that something so simple from that to migrants being shipped across the border, whatever it is, Minnesota, right? Iraq, saying 9-year-old girls can get married, people riding in the streets of Great Britain, Russia and the Ukraine, people dying every single day, China waiting on the edge to see when they can invade Taiwan. Israel is sitting back waiting for Iran to attack after assassinating 3 of Iran's leaders. You've got people in the streets rioting in Venezuela. I mean, there is chaos everywhere, and here we sit. Kelly May says, I don't need permission to live in a camper in South Dakota. Good for you. The love of money is the root of all evil. Yep, I think that's said really well. I'm glad you didn't say money was the root of all evil. The love of money certainly is. I just, we're facing a lot, and I'm not really sure, how we all get out of it. I'm not really sure what this all means in the end, but I mean, we're going to have to get together and we're going to have to figure out ways to combat some of these things. We talked about the land grab. Guys, 100 million acres of land. This is farmers who've probably, in some cases, had this land 100 years. You know, the government's just going to take it from them?
They don't care. They don't care how long.
Of course they don't care, but
they don't care who has it.
That's right.
They want it.
Yep. How sad is that? Harris has stated in the past that if elected, she would do an executive order to collect our guns. Yes, she did. And it probably wouldn't go anywhere, because then they would file an appeal, and that appeal would go to the Supreme Court. But who knows, right? Who knows what they get through? I mean, at the end of the day, when I was growing up, we'd walk out of the door, get on our bikes, and, your mom would say, be home when the lights come on at dark. When I went to school, we had trucks in the parking lot with guns and racks in the back window, and there was never a school shooting. Now we've got Tide Pods, kids littering, using, litter baskets in classrooms. And we can't even tell you what a woman is. I mean, so trying to project what they'll actually get away with is, really, really hard. Tag, did you hear what Biden said when asked about peaceful change in the government? Yeah, Starla, we talked about that earlier on the live, and he said there would not be a peaceful exchange. And so you might see the whole January 6th thing all over again. This time it'll be the other way, and they'll be saving us from ourselves. Silver Lining says chaos everywhere. Yeah. Gas prices up in Minnesota this morning. Thought they did something in the Middle East. I predicted days last week. Well, it sure looks to me like Iran is going to start an attack, but I actually read some articles that Russia and Iran and North Korea were going to attack Israel at one time simultaneously. Somehow in the know, enough weapons to turn the whole country of Iran into glass. Yeah, and where does that lead, right? Man. I got COVID right at the beginning, was hospitalized with double pneumonia. A lot of sketchiness made me walk out AMA after 4 days and treated myself. Yeah, Revelation is playing out. Tribulation training, right? And we're all in it. Yeah. It's a shame that everything is a chore anymore. Yeah. We would save massive amount of tax dollars if we got rid of the bureaucracy. Yeah, that's exactly right. But here we are, and I guess we'll just leave it at that, and you guys can can ponder all of those things. But I think it's definitely an interesting time to be alive, as they say. And I think it's time to get in the fight. And if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're not doing anything, shame on you. Go to your local commissioners meetings, go to your polling stations, go talk to people, even if it's the lady who makes the permits. At least stand up and say there's something wrong with this, because maybe eventually they'll listen. B, what you got to say before we get here?
I was going to say, in order for you to gain some of that, you have to yoke up. You have to get your community. And if you say like, oh, there's no people around me, you're not looking. There are people everywhere, just like, our group, who are willing to do something about it. Trying to find your people and get your
stuff in order.
Yeah, that's it. Something too. Like, we didn't even know. You have to get involved, because there were things that just when you went to the meeting and Mike was talking about, right off the bat, the guy was like, "That's already old news." Had we have known about those things sooner, we probably would have fought those sooner, instead of just, oh, you should have been here to the meeting last time. We've already decided, okay, well then from here out, no more, because the rules that they have already set in place we can't change the laws, but getting involved now helps us to stop the future grab.
Yeah, well, it's hard, because they set out meetings at particular times where they know people aren't going to show up, and people are out working their asses off trying to pay the increased taxes. They can't afford a day off work, and yet your voice don't get heard. But I think I'll echo what B said. This is why yoking up is important, because when you yoke up, people can attend. Everyone's on a different schedule, and as long as you get organized and this is when the meeting's going, there's something that can be done about it, and at least you can put up a fight.
Yeah.
The flip side to that is maybe it's too late and there's no fight left to give, and in that case, you need to yoke up even more. Right? You need to raise food together and animals together, and you need to build camaraderie and friendships, because at the end of the day, community might be all we have. I love you guys. We'll see you guys in the next live.
Be out.
Tag out. We'll see everybody.
Hold the line. Don't give an inch.